Alright. One out again. What was that? Ah! Today I'm going to be talking about my first real foray into sculpting miniatures. A lot of people online seem to be sculpting mushrooms, and it's always a project I wanted to try out. So here is my step-by-step process for how I sculpted these guys. Needless to say, I am an amateur, so I did leave some links in the description for a more professional look at sculpting with green stuff. So here is basically what you need to do this. Some lovely needle nose pliers, something to cut with, some green stuff. I got a big old case of it here. I got some corks for mounting the models, and I have some armature wire, but you can use copper wire. I got some water for the green stuff, and I have some sculpting tools. At the end of your project, this is kind of what you have, a solid green stuff guy on a little bit of wire sticking out from the foot. So to get this effect, you need to kind of fold up and wind up and curl up your armature wire into a general frame that you're then going to start building your green stuff around. And you want to remember at the feet, you want to leave a little extra wire so you can poke that into the cork at the end so you will have a solid substructure to work with, because you're going to be holding on to the cork and not the frame itself. See here, I'm kind of bending the head and just working it into the cork, so it's going to be real nice and solid. I got two separate feet, and now I'm going to be adding on the little stubby arms, and boom, we are done. And this is super simple. Next up is the green stuff. Basically, green stuff, you have to have a lot of water on your fingers, and you can just kind of mix it up until it is a uniform green color. That is how you know that it's properly mixed. This has a working time of about 2 hours. There's different ways you can extend the working time and whatnot. But yeah, it's very soft and very sticky while you're able to work with it. So everything, your fingers, your tools, everything that you're touching the green stuff with needs to be wet down a little bit. And this is what you're going to use to build up the little frame. As you can see here, I'm going to start with the legs. I'm just going to add a little bit more water. And I'm just going to start to add a little bit of green stuff on the gotta remember to get my camera a little bit more out there so I don't miss any of this stuff that I'm doing. I always get so into working with the green stuff, I never remember that the camera's not actually capturing anything that I'm doing here. But hopefully you can kind of get the gist of what I'm doing. I'm just taking little pieces and I'm slowly building up this guy's body. And now I'm going to start working with the tool because green stuff is so soft, it's going to take any fingerprints. So every time you use your fingers to work with it, it's going to take all those fingerprints. So you're going to have to kind of push those and poke those away with some sort of a tool afterwards. So I'm just trying to get the general shape of here. And just poking and prodding with tools until I get a mushroom-style body. And then I'm going to work a separate piece for the head slash mushroom cap type head of this guy. And here, too, I forgot to... I don't know what people generally do with this. I gotta become an expert at the green stuff because it really stuck on the one little area I put it on there. So here we go. I have the body done, so I'm very carefully, because again, green stuff is very... it takes any kind of pressure well. So I'm just making little marks here to make these striations of the mushroom skin. Now, I'm sure there's a much better way to get the mushroom-style detail, but I kind of wanted the exaggerated, almost bark-like exterior. It worked well for what I was doing. So very simple lines down here using the sharp end of a little tool. And then I'm just kind of poking and prodding the ends of the arms here to get rid of any sort of fingernail things and also kind of shape them a little bit more into stubby little arms. And again, that's where I'm at right now. And I unfortunately I was not able to videotape the process of making his little arms. But basically what I did is I just kind of made little added a little extra to the end of his arms, and I just kind of poked and prodded until it sort of looked fist-like. I think mushrooms are a very good project for your first modeling thing, because they have details, but not like a tremendous amount of details. So there, and this next area is when I start smoothing out the mushroom guy's head. This cap is very simple, just kind of smoothed out like a little mushroom head, and now I'm using this kind of wide tool to poke it out until it looks like a mushroom, and then I'm pretty much done. The video of me making the hands was not usable, but as you can see, I just kind of poked and prodded until he had like little three-fingered fists like that. And now these are all dry. And so you take them off the cork, and they will have this little bit of armature wire sticking out from the bottom. And what I did for all of these is that I chopped that until it was a little bit of a nub. And then I had a handy-dandy screwdriver / driver that I had a very small screw bit for. Very small drill bit, rather, and I was able to match up the size. So this little bit of wire that I'm leaving sticking out from the foot can then get set in the hole that I'm going to make in all these bases. Little bit of wire, little hole, fits in there perfectly. I'm going to do that again, but this time I'm going to add a little bit of super glue, just so everything's all the same. That was a weird cut. I had these little mushroom guys that I ended up using mostly for some flocking for the big mushroom guy. So I'm just going to super glue the base of these directly onto the base. The base is textured. I made some cuts on the bottom of the little mushrooms so they had a little bit of texture so they would stick there perfectly. Bada bing, bada boom, I am almost done. Now, I did do a painting stream where I showed how these got primed up and painted, but I just primed these with a Vallejo primer, the stuff that I brush on, which most people use in an airbrush. But I was just super happy how these came out. I think I would have chosen slightly different paint jobs, but at the end of the day, they came out really good. The weird purple paint job I gave to the kind of weirdest looking one was interesting. I really like how the little punchy mushroom came about. And I like the little guy that's stepping over the log. I think he came out really well too. Yeah, I wish I would have maybe figured out a way to have the little conch mushrooms that are sticking out from some of these stick out a little bit well. But yeah, as you can see here, we have some lovely large mushroom men for any sort of game, but I believe I'm going to use these mostly for D&D myconids. And a little worried looking mushroom there. This big guy was the first guy that I sculpted, and dang, he turned out great. And these two here, the one that I showed you how to sculpt on the right, and my favorite little jaunty mushroom guy on the left there. In the painting stream, you'll see how I kind of came up with the color scheme, but I really like these. I think the one on the right actually looks much better off video. And then the little guys too, which the worried little guy and then the grumpy little mushroom. These were super simple mushrooms. Maybe if you are just starting out, you can maybe try sculpting one of these guys. This is just basically a U loop of wire stuck in a cork and then a little bit of green stuff on top of it to make these guys. And there we have the family of mushroom men. Certainly an interesting selection of guys. I was considering making some molds of these, but man, it was just too difficult, and I wasn't able to get the molds made. But that's fine, because clearly I have enough mushroom men now for a giant encounter, which is great. And they're all very unique and very helpful for any sort of mushroom man thing. So excellent. Excellent stuff. As always, if you have any questions about how I did this, what techniques I used, let me know in the comments below. I am an absolute amateur about this, though. So again, please check out those links that I left for other sites that talk about green stuff sculpting in a much more professional fashion. But I am proof positive that anybody can do this.
Have a great day, and as always, thank you for watching the video.
I'm a mushroom.